Today's lesson is about interpreting the remainder, which means anytime we do a division word problem, we need to decide what the remainder means for our final answer. There are really three options when we get done with a division problem. We could round the remainder, we could drop the remainder, or we could share the remainder. If we round the remainder, it means we are going to add one more to the quotient, to the answer that we got. So for example, 17 people are attending a dinner party. Each table at the party can seat 5 people. How many tables will be needed? Well, if you would do 17 divided by 5, you would get 3, remainder 2. So what does that mean? Well, it means that we need for sure 3 tables, but then 2 people will not have anywhere to sit. So we need to add one more. We need to round up to 4 tables. So our final answer for this problem would be we need 4 tables. The next option is to drop the remainder, which means we won't use it at all. So the example says there are 17 marbles and 5 girls. How many marbles will each girl get if the marbles are divided equally? So we would do 17 marbles divided by 5, which again would be 3, remainder 2. So 3 marbles per girl, but then we have 2 extra marbles. Well, we cannot evenly divide marbles between girls, so we would just drop the remainder, which means the final answer is each girl gets 3 marbles. The last option is to share it. That means that you include the remainder as part of your answer, sometimes a fraction, sometimes a decimal, or sometimes just a whole another word. Kip and Henry have made 5 cups of lemonade. How much lemonade will each boy drink if they both drink the same amount? So again, we have 5 cups divided by 2 boys, which would be 2, remainder 1. So they each get 2 cups, but then we have 1 extra cup. Well, that 1 cup can easily be broken into a half and a half. So we would say each boy gets 2½ cups. I'm now going to show you a few story problems. I want you to pause the video, solve the division problem, and figure out how we should interpret the remainder. What do you think your final answer will be? Pause the video and solve this one. Okay, so for this problem, we would do 12 divided by 8, which we would get 1 remainder 4. So how many brownies does each person get? Well, they for sure get 1, but I have 4 brownies left over. Because brownies can be easily shared, we could cut these 4 brownies into 8 pieces, which would be half. So your final answer should be each person gets 1½ brownies. Miss Davis is giving balloons to her kindergarten students. She wants to make sure that all students have the same number. She has 15 kindergarten students and 34 balloons. How many balloons will each kindergartner get? I want you to pause the video and solve the problem and interpret the remainder. So the division problem is shown. You should get 2 remainder 4. Well, what does that mean for how many balloons each kindergartner will get? We took the balloons divided by students. That means we have 2 balloons per student, but we have 4 left over. Balloons cannot be easily divided, so your final answer would just be 2 balloons per student. Last story problem to try. The 4th and 5th grade students of Squantum Elementary School are going on a field trip. There will be 130 students going on the field trip. Each school bus fits 40 students. How many school buses do they need? Do the division for this problem and write your final answer. 130 students divided into 40 buses would be 3 buses, remainder 10. Well, what does that remainder 10 mean? That means we have 10 students that do not have a bus to read. Remainder 10 means we have 10 students that do not have a bus to ride. So this is an example of rounding. We need to add 1 to our answer. 3 buses will not be enough. So our final answer is how many buses are needed? 4 buses are needed for this field trip. You are now going to complete this interactive notebook page. You're going to glue down the outside tabs for each of these so that they make a pocket. So each of these will be open at the top. The tabs will be glued. You are then going to solve all of these story problems on the back and put them in the correct category. To get the right answer, did you drop the remainder, did you share the remainder, or did you round the remainder? So these are pockets. Solve on the back, put them in the correct category.